Welcome back to BeamNG Drive, and in today's video we deep dive into the craziest secret locations on some of the BeamNG maps, from secret tunnels to underground canyons. So last week I basically just roamed around BeamNG to find a fun video location, and after some exploring I found this, but more to that later. But finding this secret hidden space really got me thinking, what kind of secret locations are there in BeamNG? So I took my time and explored every BeamNG map inch by inch, read through long inactive subreddits and watched every single YouTube video out there, just to gather all of BeamNG's most secret map locations, starting with the most basic ones, and then I will show you the real gems. I bet there are still some locations or even hidden maps that you didn't even know of. Just like 98% of you guys watching my videos and you still don't know the location of the subscribe button. Press it! But let's start with our first one, the secret dam tunnel at the automation test center. Okay, so looking at the map, you can see it, the tunnel starts right at the bottom of the dam right here. So you basically need to enter the area of the dam, just take a left here, and then you can already see it. Here's the entrance to the tunnel, and if you drive into the tunnel, you know, the left side of the wall is pretty funny curved, so you can do wall rides, you know, funny. Now the trail split here, and I'm gonna show you in a second where that left one leads, but for now let's just drive to the end of the tunnel, and when exiting you have to be a bit careful with your speed, otherwise it's gonna end up like that. Yeah, but if you're a bit more cautious than me, you will end up out here. And if we take a closer look on the map, you can see that this basically put us to the other side of the dam. So we entered right here and we came out right there. But now let's get right back into the tunnel, because I'm gonna show you where that other trail leads. Okay, so let's go slow right there. And now if we take a right with that, amazing, this path will basically go all the way up to the dam. You can see it. If you have a quick look to the right, you can basically look all over the map, which is pretty beautiful, you know. But now for the most interesting part, if we reverse just like that, you can basically drive to the back of the dam, and on the right you can see there's the high sea level, you know, the reason why the dam is here in the first place. Knowledge. And on the left you can see a ramp, which you actually can drive down. Some of you all may know this from the BeamNG scenarios, but you can basically drive down on it. It will get pretty fast, and you can try how far you can jump with your car, and that's pretty funny. So yeah, pretty lovely little tunnel, but the next one is gonna be even cooler. Okay, enough of the tunnel, let's head right into number 2, the longest straight in the game, right on the Salt Lake at Johnson Valley. And if we take a closer look on the map, you might think, where the fuck are we? Because just by looking at the map, you wouldn't even think that this is part of the map. Because if you go all the way to the left right here, you can see this huge flat salt bed. And I really suggest that you get in some sort of off-road vehicle, because you're gonna have to drive through the absolute wilderness. Because there are no roads or any paths even leading to this place. You have to drive through the dunes basically all the way until you see a fence. And in a normal case, you would think that this is the border of the map, you know, because it basically blocks you from getting anywhere. But if we take a closer look, you can see this little sign which says warning 400 polygons next 8 miles. And if you drive a little further, you can see it's actually huge. So let's look for an appropriate car. You know, we're gonna go with the Bastion Red Tail, and now you can do some proper top speed runs, because you basically have enough space, and I literally mean enough space. And you can see it, it's really flat. Yeah, you can hear the sand a little bit here and there, but at the end of the day, it's just an 8-mile long straight. You can also do the longest drifts known to mankind. So you see it, you can really do anything here. Let's just zoom out a bit here to show you how big this really is. Do you see how small the car is right now? That small black pixel is our Bastion, and if we zoom out a little further, you can't even see the Bastion anymore. That right there at the back is the start, and that's the complete map, and you can see all the way back there. So yeah, I'm sure many people didn't know this, but this is not the best one. We've got some other crazy things to explore. So let's go right to the next one. Coming from the desert, it's time to head into the city, where we will visit our third location, which is a literal water slide. Alright, for this next one, we are at the big West Coast USA map. And looking on the map, you basically have to drive to this construction site right here. And if we enter that construction site, you basically have to drive all the way up here until you can drive into the building. And there you can already see it. There's somewhat of a pipe, but we don't know where it leads to. And looking at the pipe, I think we need a bit of a smaller car. Perfect. So we are ready to go. And you can see it. It's basically a real storm drain, and it's actually really long, so you can drive the full way down here. You have to be a bit careful so you don't mess up your car while driving down here, But as we come closer to the exit, you will see that we are basically coming out at the sewer. Now if we go into our free camera really quick, you can see that it's actually really big because it goes from all the way down here to all the way back up into this construction site. And just like with the tunnel on the automation test track, this is basically a great way for police escapes or just escaping your friends or kind of fooling them. And I think it's gonna be pretty fun because it's just so hidden. Why would you drive onto this construction site and then you're basically gone and you will come out, let me zoom out here really quick, all the way down here. But yeah, I think that was everything I need to show you about the storm drain, and let's head right back to the next one. This random Italian guy already showed you this fourth location in one of his videos, but I think he missed out on the craziest part. And for this one, we are on Jungle Rock Island. I'm gonna show you the map location really quick. So it's basically all the way to the right here. There you can see it. There is the lighthouse. And if you want to drive there, I would recommend some sort of off-road vehicle that can get across some stones. So let's change this really quick. Tuck. And I would recommend to lock your diffs. And then you have to follow this little path right here all the way to the back. And for the people that watch Muye's videos, you may have already seen this spot. But don't worry, I'm not gonna show you the same thing. Oh no, 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 no! And if you actually make it somewhere to the back of this path, let's hop into free mode really quick, get the car out of the way just so I can show it to you better. Muye was basically pointing out that these rocks may look somewhat some sort of like you know, male genital thing, but that's not what I want to point out, because if you have a closer look, you can see that it somewhat looks like the Mount Rushmore faces. And I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if that's a little Easter egg, but I definitely recommend that you check out this spot and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this some sort of male genital or are these the Mount Rushmore faces? Man, I'm really interested in what you guys will say to that. But our fifth location is a spot I've never seen anybody speak about. And for this next one, we are at the Hirochi Raceway. And if we take a closer look on the map right here, you can see that this street is somewhat of a dead end. But if we go back to the car, you can see that you are normally not supposed to go any further here. But you know, if we take our little magic hands and if you somehow make it over these little racks right here, you can drive into this tunnel. You can see some grass, which would make you think that this part of the map is not meant to be seen. And now you would ask yourself, why would I include this in this video? Because it doesn't seem that special. But just wait till you drive a little bit further. And now you can see it, we are driving through the ground. And now if you back up again, you can basically drive onto the tunnel. And if we go into the free cam, it just looks like you're floating, because there is no ground right there. So it normally looks like a shut-off tunnel. But just like with the other spots, this is somewhat just of a funny way to juke your friends or just confuse them, because when they follow you down this path right here, they will just see you basically floating up in the sky and they will have no clue what's going on whatsoever. Not that special, but still funny in some way in my opinion. But let's get right to the next one. Now number 6 is probably one of the only real Easter eggs in the game, and all my Nürburgring fans are going to love it. And for this next one, we are at the ETK Driver Experience Center. And while I would bet that most of you don't ever visit this map so often because it doesn't seem so fun at first glance, I highly recommend checking it out, because you basically have all these parts with water on the track, you have a full racetrack on this side right here, and there are just so many things to check out and test your car with. But that is not what we are here for, because I'm here to show you this, the castle. And maybe it's only cool for me because I'm German and it's from my country, but if you just look at it, you may think that it's just a normal castle and that it's meaningless. But if you take a closer look, you may see that this looks somewhat like the Nürburgring Castle, which is the castle right beside the Nürburgring. I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but I think it's really funny and it kind of fits the whole theme of the Driver's Experience Center right here. So for all my Nürburgring fans right here, I think this is just a funny little Easter egg. Now that was really cool, but now let's get to number 7, a real hidden underground city. And we are back on the West Coast USA map. And funny enough, we are also back at the sewer. And this basically leads into this dark sewer, which makes you kind of think that the Ninja Turtles are living here, but that's not the case. And if we drive down the sewer, you can see that there are more paths coming up. And if we take the right one, for example, right here, it's getting really small and we just kind of fit in it. But as soon as we get out, we are in this like underground complex. And because driving through all of this would take a little bit too long, so I'm going to show it to you in free cam mode. So you basically have this pipe right here, which leads all the way back here. And now if we get back in our car and just drive up right here, you can see that we are in somewhat of a power plant facility. And now you may ask where this actually is. And let me show you on the map, because we are right below this power plant at the bottom left on the map right here. And if we go back to free cam mode, you can see that there is so much to explore. So there's really much going on right here. You can go down, you can go up. There are so many different paths right here that you can take. So if we go back underground, you can see this large pipe. This is the pipe that we've come through. But if we even go further, you can see that we are in some sort of a factory. You know, those are some steel barrels, so also a fun little place to explore. So by having a look at the outside, just basically drive into the main entrance, and then you will see that there are some ways down here, just here, here, and here. And the other one is basically the sewer, which I showed you earlier. So yeah, a huge underground complex to explore, and I highly recommend that you check this out because there is so much going on. But if you think that this is cool, I want you to get ready for the next one. Because now I'm going to show you number 8, the Holy Grail, the craziest map addition in all of BeamNG history, the huge mine system under Utah. And while this map just looks like mostly canyon roads and some dirt paths, I can tell you there's much more to it. Because if you pay a little bit of attention and if you take a closer look, sometimes there are these entrances spread it all over the map. And then you may think, where do they lead to? And these are basically mine shafts spread it all over the map. There are some crazy ones because here we can actually fall into the water if you're not being cautious, and you really have to work your way around here to not just go full on scuba diving. And also on this one there should be a jump coming up right here. Yes, it's right. Oh. Yeah, but that's what I meant. You have to be really cautious around these mines because there are just jumps, holes and water spread it everywhere around these mine shafts. And honestly, the best way to explore these mine shafts is in free mode, because only then you can really see the length of the whole thing. Because here you can see it, this was the open field, we had to jump right here with the hole, and there is the part with the water. You know, just like this one, this looks like a normal path to a normal mine shaft, but if you drive in here, you can see it's really getting narrower in here, and you really have to watch out where you go, because as you can see, there is a whole canyon in here, or maybe a small canyon, but you can see it, there's a huge drop down here and you have to really work your way around these holes. Come on, come on, come on. No, but like I said, you really have to dive into free cam mode to really see the mine shafts and explore them all, because otherwise you wouldn't even be able to tell all the entrances and where they are scattered around the map. You can see it's getting kinda narrow right here, but we are still fitting, so everything should be fine. 3, 2, 1, and almost. And just have a look at that. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 directions that you can go into, so there's basically so much to explore, and for me personally, this is the coolest secret location around all of the BeamNG maps. And for number 9, we basically have 2 secret locations in the East Coast swamps. And you may be wondering, why have I set the time to night? Because if we drive down this little path right here, you can see this house. And basically this is some sort of haunted house. Because if we step outside of the car, you can see the light in the window is actually flickering. But if we go into free cam now, and if you move closer to the light, you know, just as you go into the window, I'm really sorry for that one. Yeah, it's not that crazy to be honest, but I think it's just a small, lovely little Easter egg and a nice hidden location. But there's more to this place, because if we step in the car and we turn the time back to daytime, you will see something very interesting. And let's just... oh, the swamp is way deeper than I expected. But this is actually the last black monolith that's actually in the game, because there once were 3. I think one was in Utah and the other one was on Jungle Rock Island. But since the last 2 got removed, I think this one won't stay forever. So check it out as long as it's still there. And yeah, and for number 10, these are not really secret locations, but rather 5 completely secret maps. So if you go into the map selector and click on the Include Auxiliary Debug Content button, it will give you 5 new maps. Automated testing, a garage, Glow City, a showroom, and this template island. And yeah, with that being said, I think these are the biggest secrets covered, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. I wish you happy exploring, and if you want to support an upcoming creator, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out!